Welcome back. We're about 5 minutes early. We're going to go ahead and set stuff up. So folks kind of trickle in anyway. Plus, we need to get set up on our tablet so that we can actually talk to you without going like that. So let's see, library. Let's see. I did this last time. That's not it. Videos. Yeah, there we go. So I had to click on the cat. Okay, let's see here. Chat, top chat, I want live chat. And hopefully that will do it. Yes, hello. Okay, I think that's good. Sorry, just getting things arranged here. What is this? No. Okay, yeah, old guy shouldn't mess with filters. Okay. Oops, let's turn our volume down. There we go. Now you won't be getting... No, I don't want to stop streaming. Cancel. No, just how do I get rid of the filters? Okay, there we go. Yeah, disco. No. It was raining in the city by the live stream, a hard, cold rain that washed the slime of the streets down into the bay like the disgusting treacle of all of the sins of the city made manifest and sliding down the hill as though to wash itself clean. Yeah, no. Bubbles! Yeah, isn't this great? 8mm. Hey, look, we're on the film again. Dark joke. Very dark joke. Okay. Let's see. So we got the chat, live chat. What the hell is member and super chat messages? Okay. So, hi, all 5 of you. Folks are going to be trickling in here, so let me go ahead and close up the door over here so that not so much noise. That's... Oof. All right, I'm back. Hopefully nothing weird happened while I was gone. You never know in this house. So, sound check, please. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Well, don't literally thumbs up, just let me know in the chat. May you ask who's fronting, Chris? Data, the rest of them are kind of... All God. No, we're not a god. We'd like to think so, but not. Duck, duck, can I hear you? Thumbs up. Okay, hello, crafting system. Just saw your reply on the little blip short thing that we did. Glad to see you. Don't think that we've seen you around. Welcome to the stream. We're pretty chill here. Ask whatever you want. If we're not comfortable talking about something, we'll let you know we're not comfortable talking about that. But as regular viewers can attest, we're not shy about talking about much things. So it can go anywhere from really light to really heavy. So we never know exactly where the stream's going to go. But just as a heads up and a general trigger warning, we can discuss serious stuff. So don't be afraid to ask. Also, don't be afraid to talk amongst yourselves. This is a community, kind of a forum in the old Greek sense of the word, as in where everybody comes around and discusses things rather than just us, talking to you guys all the time. We're not the show, you guys are. So let me check the chat here, since I'm, like I said, on the tablet. This worked well last time, so let's see what we have so far. Roses, hello again. Okay, let's see here. We have, okay, hey Naomi, good to see you. Hope things are peaceful in your part of the world. Like we said, just Chris data fronting at the moment. Starry Girl, hello, good to see you again. Duck Duck, and I hear you, excellent, okay. Bug Bean, hi, wow, haven't seen you in a while, good to see you. Glad that you were able to join the stream. Hopefully that little blurb thing that we did a couple days ago will proved useful to you guys, and kind of clued you into or reminded you exactly when we do the streams and stuff. So we'll keep doing that if that's something, if it's better than just the community post. We're still playing around with all these new YouTube features and whatnot, and it's like, plus we just unlocked memberships and super memberships and chat stickers and all this stuff. So you guys probably know how that works better than we do. So anyway, if anything weird pops up, that's why. So let's see, Duck Duck and Starry Girl crafting system. Yes, we just said hello to you, making sure everybody's here. Tomco. Tom Jaco? We're going to call you Tomco, unless you correct us there. Welcome. Don't think that you've been on the streams before. If you have, you've been a lurker. If not, we forgot, D.I.D. Oh, well. But welcome now. We will remember you after this. The crafting system, appreciated, most likely to just be one of those saying, wait, what was said? Because hearing processing issues, that's okay. No problem. Most of it happens in the chat, and we always post our live streams and leave those up. So crafting system, if you need to review, go ahead and rewatch later on. It'll have all the live chat. Just generally it takes about 4 to 10 hours for YouTube to process the live chat. So for whatever reason, the comments won't show up. So we recommend, letting it lag for at least that much, maybe even the next day. But we always leave them up, so feel free to rewatch. And we've got all of them on there, all the way back to where we started the channel. So yeah, there it is. Okay, so who else do we have here? EW, hey, good to see you again after last time. We didn't scare you off. Okay, so Bugbean, and speaking of, did I see... Nope, not yet. Okay. I want to see if Clover Aioli stops in, because she was having some difficulties last time, so hopefully they are doing better. So yeah. Okay, Bugbean says, yes, thank you, it's very useful. I've looked up the time here and set an alarm. Okay, good. We are still trying to find that medium. We've been doing a fair number of impromptu streams lately. I guess by fair number, we mean like 2. So we're trying to be more thoughtful to you guys overseas, like Naomi, and I'm guessing for you. So we may end up just simply doing a 2-for-1, like maybe on Friday night, stream late for you overseas folks, or would you prefer it like later tonight, which would be your Sunday? Kind of let us know in the comments which would work for you. I guess the easiest for us would probably just be to stream a late one on Friday night, and then just do this one immediately the day after. So kind of a 2-for-1 maybe. We'll work it out and see. If you guys have any suggestions, hit us up. Okay, so let's see here. Starry Girl, I like your shirt. It's very colorful and nice. Thank you. The shirt is, yeah, we know it's late for you, Naomi. Sorry about that. We always seem to catch you there, and we do really appreciate you guys, being willing to tune in and lose a little sleep with us. You don't have to. Go get rest. But yeah, thank you for the shirt. I'm gonna stand up a little bit so you can see the repeating pattern here. Ooh, fashion. Yeah, the shirt. Okay, you've seen or if you haven't seen our episodes on passive influence, you might want to check that out to understand what we're about to tell you. We were in Walmart shopping think it was about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and we were passing by the men's section, which we normally avoid like the plague because our wardrobe is monochromatic, black, white, a few colors. Mimi's purple, Bootstraps is red. We don't really have a green yet. So we were there, and all of a sudden, I think it was Percival who spotted this god awful 1980s Miami Vice themed shirt. It wasn't actual logo, but it was that look with pink flamingos and palm trees and everything on it. And he was like, "Oh, how darling!" And so, of course, we had to go over and check it out. But it was an extra small, thank God, but just around the rack. And this sets off a conversation between Percival and Mimi. Basically, we're saying, "Oh, we need more color in our wardrobe. We haven't bought clothes in forever." Blah, 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 blah. So they're nattering back and forth, and I'm there just basically going, looking through the rack. And around the corner, actually, there was this one, which is like, it's a tent, but apparently that is the fashion now. The kids have called it, and I'm going to have to block this off because it really pisses Percival and Mimi off. So you guys go away for a minute. Fortunately, they're mostly asleep. Apparently, it's the fashion called dad fit. But our daughter told us that, and our wife told us that, and somebody else. And every time that they hear it, Percival and Mimi get really upset because this was deliberately an attempt to get some style into us and some color and make us feel better about ourselves and better communicate with those parts. So we grabbed the shirt, of course, but they get really irritated, and it comes with a new pair of shorts. My daughter, or our daughter, was joking that all we need now is a pair of Crocs, and we're like, no, it's no. So yes, thank you for the compliment on the shirt. Who knows if we're going to see more of that in the future, but that was a total example of active influence between Percival and Mimi. We're going to try to get this to stay centered so it's not zooming in and out the way it was last time, rather than, is this going to focus on me? Yes, okay. I think we'll be good about that, because the one thing that I can't stand is when it's going in and out of focus. Personal pet peeve. Okay, so sure, yes, thank you. So yeah, Percival and Mimi, active influence, and here we are sitting in the shirt with the new outfit. So yeah, now, and another example, though this is kind of more, no, it was pretty active. I think it was it yesterday or the day before? I think it was the day before. We went to the dollar store to pick up some stuff, and there's a thrift store nearby, really nice one. And we went out we got done with the dollar store, and we were like, "Hey, you want to go to the thrift store?" Because we like to go thrifting together. So our daughter goes with us a lot when we go out because she is a center for us. She's really good at keeping us from freaking out and keeping us centered and keeping us in the moment. Thankfully, she's the best. So anyway, we're there and we're coming out of the store, and towards the thrift mall, just walking over there, and on the right-hand side, there were one of these coin-operated righty horses, the ones made out of metal. You drop in a couple quarters, you set your kid on it, and just go, but hey, it amuses the kid. Anyway, we're walking by that, and all of a sudden, I don't know if it was Christopher or if it was Susie or some unholy combination of the two. I think more Susie, because all of a sudden out of our mouth comes, "Ooh, horsey, can I have a quarter?" And our daughter's like, "What was that?" And we're like, that was active influence there. So yeah, prime example of active influence with the older alts, AMPs, and with also the others. So watch out, because you never know when that's going to crop up. Needless to say, we did not sit on the horse, and because we didn't have any quarters, and even if we had, to be honest, I'm not sure what we would have done. So file that under food for thought. Okay, so Weird Moments in D.I.D. with your host, the Infinity System. Okay, now then, enough of that. Okay, let's backtrack a little bit because I've been seeing the chat things come out. Okay, here. So yeah, about the Kurt shirt. Naomi wants to know how we're doing. All right, we're managing, we're maintaining. Some ups or downs this week. Like last night, we couldn't sleep. Just laid down, and the brain kicked in at some point and said, we're going to go a little while longer now. And then all of a sudden, it's 5:30 before we can get to sleep. So not all that unusual, but very irritating. Kind of discombobulated the day before that. Just we get in these spaces where we're not satisfied with anything. We can't just sit down and relax. There's always something that and it's not even specific. It's just this general feeling of unease, which can then lead into dread, which then leads into the spiraling rabbit hole of, we're about to go into a flashback, or we're about to, hit the guilt, shame, blame spiral again. It's that rabbit hole of negativity that certain trains of thoughts and emotions tend to lead us down. So it's kind of a running battle, as it were, to, if not try to pull ourselves out of those moods, then to at least just say, okay, we're experiencing it. We're not sure exactly why. We think it might be trauma related, but we are reacting. So knowing that, let's go ahead and try to divert into another task, which of course is just a way to keep yourself busy until the feeling hits again. But eventually it does resolve itself, but we're still not exactly sure what will trigger it. So other than those things, pretty steady. Missed a couple of hours somewhere around Monday or Tuesday. 8:03, we go out onto the porch and come right back in, and it's an hour later. Blink. Yeah, things like that. Just the standard stuff, memory issues. Anyway, so, okay. Better than a lot of folks were this week, we're sure. We're thankful. Let's see here. So, can't sleep for now. Okay, Naomi, we should have read back a little. Sounds like you're in the same position. Weird name, but it still looks nice. Looks comfy. Weird names. Oh, the shirt. Okay, yeah, sorry. Starry Girl, weird name, but it still looks nice. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Anyway, you can fill us in if it's important. If not, we tend to lose track of the chat log. That's a mood, been then there, done that. Yes. Hello, Lisa. Good to see you. Glad you could join us on the stream again. Yeah, Roses is saying that their wife describes that moment as like there's a little hiding behind the curtains, ready to pop out and say something and then disappear again. That's a good analogy. It really is, because we didn't even know that. We're just going to pin it on Susie. Maybe a little. It's so tangled because because they run back to back of each other. Right about the time that Christopher went away shortly after the events that we've shared with you guys a little. There's a lot more, but suffice it to say that we ended up moving because of what happened with Jenny and Jane. Damn it, it's doing that autofocus thing again. Is there a way to turn that off? All right, we're just gonna have to live with it, I guess. So yeah, they're really close since Susie has come out. They were like back to back, and they overlapped as far as the trauma went for at least a couple months, where it's fuzzy. Anyway, so yeah, perfect good example there, and Roses described it perfectly well. So you never know when they're listening. So pay attention to your littles. Let's see. Yesterday, do we want to walk with us to the store? Turned into, do we want to duck bonk to the store? I'm sorry, what? We have to, okay, duck bonk is a method of locomotion. Starry Girl is, yeah, that. Yeah. Don't say that out loud. Or rather, yeah. Well, you can't say that out loud. Anyway, okay, so still open on the live chat? Okay, we're doing good here. So, you guys got any questions for us? Want to talk about the weather? Where anything at all? I know most likely, since we haven't seen you around before, crafting system, if you've got questions, spit them out. We're here to answer. And if we don't know anything or we're not sure of anything, the folks in the chat area will be able to help you more than likely. That's one of the reasons that we encourage you guys to talk amongst yourselves, is in order to share the experiences that we all have with each other, because D.I.D is so complex and systems are unique just simply because of the way that people are, and every brain is unique and the traumas are unique. Everybody has a little bit to the overall puzzle, and by sharing it amongst ourselves, the benefits are obvious. So yeah, please feel free to ask, and everybody, if you have anything, feel free to chime in. Two birds, one stone. It's raining here and there's thunder and lightning. Is it weird that I'm still a bit spooked by it? Starry Girl says, no, thunder is a real primal thing. That's a hard-coded caveman response. Honestly, it affects that lizard brain portion of us. Now for us, we have always found intense thunderstorms and lightning and rain to be, we love it. We'll go out and stand in it with, strike me, or at least just rain on me, wash this all away. So it sounds goofy, but seriously, it does. Every time it rains, we're out there in it. We were the kids splashed around in the puddle. Wow. That brings up a memory. Anyway, we'll just file that one for later. So yeah, we love rain. Love rain. We're sorry that it scares you, but it's funny the way that works. But yeah, we still jump, boy, because we live in an area where there's intense thunderstorms and winds and lightning, and man, when it gets ripping, we've literally had ones where the whole house will just shake, and it's like, so yeah, we get you. We would kind of wish we had it all trade jar weather, which is hot and sunny. But at least the state's not on fire. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, Lisa wants to know which of our altars age slide. Now, as we understand it, age sliding is where the little can present as at the bottom of their bracket, as it were, and then can either at will or unconsciously shift to a later age. Like, say, for example, if you have one that runs from 3 to 5, they can either be 3, 4, or 5 when they come out, or this is the best of our understanding. So if not, you guys correct us. Here's the way it works for us, and we've explained this before, so I'm not really sure that the term age slide applies to us, just because of the way that we formed. The ANPs are all well aware of the existence of time and when we are and where we are. They're oriented. They may not think about it a lot, but they're oriented. So, for example, Rosemary, Percival, Nigel, if he cared to know, myself, Data, the mains. Mimi kind of shares a dual awareness. She's aware that the body is living in the future because there's all of this futuristic tech, but she is from 1981 to 1984. That was the time period when she was when we were being traumatized, and she was there to take over, basically after John broke, uh, shattered. Bye bye. So, but she doesn't think about, okay, it's 1981, I am 12. It's 1982, I am 13. She doesn't perceive it that way. To her, it's just where she is. It's her reality, if you were, her world. So I suppose, as far as memories go, maybe because she can, spout stuff from that span of time, that's completely and utterly accurate. That was one of the first things that Data tested after she emerged. It's like, weird, and a little scary. So I don't know if I don't. We're not sure. We don't think so. It's like Christopher. Yeah, obviously he's from birth to 4.5-ish, almost to 5 when Susie came in. So he does encompass that span of time. But again, these are kids. Their conception of time does not work the same way that adults do. Their entire perception of the world is not the same as the adults are. So this is what we were referring, Lisa, when we talked about the trauma locked alters. And yes, I know we keep saying that we're working on it, but we are. Data, it's just this. It's nebulous, and the scarcity of the hard information that supports this is kind of tough and hard to find. So he's having difficulty putting it all together into a coherent whole. We're about 80% of the way, or he's about 80% of the way done with it. So yeah, this is touching on the same territory. So it's not like Christopher D can say, okay, I'm 12, or I'm 10, or I'm 11. It just is. They just are. It's like okay, you're sitting there right now, and it's August 2021, but you're not really thinking about, okay, in the course of your everyday existence, you're not thinking, okay, it's August 2021, I am 50 years old, it's our brains just don't quite, well, ours don't quite work that way. So maybe it's just a lack of awareness. I hope that, before we go on anymore, I hope that helps. If we don't perceive it. The alts just are, and are within that span of time. And we have graphed it out who is responding. It gets a little murky in our teenage years, particularly around junior high, because that's when Christopher D split into Jack and John, and then Mimi came after John, while Jack and, like I said, things get a little murky. So hopefully that'll give you your answer. Sorry. So yeah, back to these. See what you guys have to say. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, I was curious because you brought it up once. Yes, we're sorry. We know your comment sits there every time that we go to our studio and stares at us, and we're like, Data, and he's like, I know, but it has to be right, and it's like, okay, so. We're not avoiding it. It's like for the first time he's having some difficulty with the research because there's nothing out there. Okay, so let's see. Crafting System says, pay attention to the little sounds like a slogan the ones in our system would have started blaring to everyone possible. Yeah, and that was kind of the whole point, Percival's whole point on the last little stories, the Little Red Caboose. Yeah, he's always looking for those things like that, because the littles are vital. Okay, so Crafting System says that they're in the middle of attempting to quilt something for the first time in months, so I'll be listening more than anything else. Yeah, go right ahead. Never done the actual quilting. We've sewn a few patchwork squares in the past. We know how to crochet. We can sew really well. Crafty, runs in the family. Let's see. So where are we? So good luck with the quilt. Let's see here. Okay, Bugbean wants to know what has your journey been like to get used to being plural after the diagnosis? I still can't say it, not even in therapy. Let me reread that. Get used to use the plural after the diagnosis. Oh, okay. You're talking about. We're going to assume, Bugbean, that you're meaning the use of the term we or our instead of the singular I. We think that's what you're after there. For us, it was easy because, as it turned out, and this was one of the earliest signs for us, and can be an early sign apparently, is we had always referred to ourselves as were I would refer to myself in the plural terms, which was one of the first things that our not our therapist, but our one before that, who referred us to the other one, picked up on. It was that we would refer to ourselves as we a lot, or say our, and we would not be speaking in the general sense of our family or household in general. And we didn't even realize we were doing it. Like we've said many times, we grew up together, so that must have leaked through into our everyday vernacular, our everyday conversations. So that can be a sign. I'm assuming that's what you were doing. It can be very difficult to sort out. We've actually thought about doing an episode on the grammar of it, on the damn plurals, on exactly what we're supposed to call ourselves and what systems will call ourselves what. And I know that there's all kinds of posts over on Twitter, and they have to define everything down to the nth detail and hashtag this and hashtag that. Yeah, whatever. You got to find what works for you. But we have thought about making kind of like a D.I.D for dummies type guide. Yeah. So you've just been diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder. You don't even know who the hell you are. This book's for you. So yeah, the us, we, our, it was kind of there anyway, but I can see where it would be challenging for others who maybe weren't the same way that we are, because our whole society is drilled around thinking of us as an individual, a singular person. So there is all of that pressure behind it. And let's face it, okay, at some point or another, we've all seen or heard of that crazy guy walking on the street corner talking to himself, and we drive by and we're like, okay. And then all of a sudden we get diagnosed and learn that we are that crazy guy talking to himself on the corner, and your whole perspective shifts big time, because you're looking at him and you're going, wow, the only thing separating me from him, or us from him, are meds, therapy, and a house, and a will to go on. I mean, it's like, don't get me wrong, I'm not denigrating anyone out there. I'm saying it's one of those, oh, I finally get it moments. Because when it's real easy to judge when you don't have proper perspective on virtually anything. And that's a very long conversation, so we're just going to leave it right there and get back to the comments. So, Bugbean, I hope that's what you mean. If not, we'll answer the other possible meaning of the question if you say it's not. Okay, so amen to not being on fire. Yes, the States, just the whole West is nuts right now. Okay, so Starry Girl is saying, I am assuming in that case with Mimi, the trauma really locked her in there, maybe as a safeguard from what happened. I don't know, I'm just spitballing there. Yeah, and that's actually what according to our understanding, because we follow the theory of structural dissociation, which states that, and we have talked about this on all of our series episodes. In fact, we just did an episode showing that there is now MRI proof of the trauma bonding onto the brain. It says that during an extremely traumatic event or repeated traumatic events, that the brain will section it off and chemically encode that memory or those sets of experiences. In the case of CPTSD, for folks who don't have a secondary or a tertiary, well, technically CPTSD is a secondary, but it doesn't form multiple ANPs like the way that D.I.D does. So that makes sense. But let's see. You're right. Yeah, the trauma has literally locked her in that period of time from 1981 to 1983/84, and it's right in that period when we were going to junior high, and we don't remember anything about junior high. There are literally like 3 memories that we have, and that's it. And we were in there for 2 or 3 years. So yeah, it's like big gaping hole in your life. Hi, Mimi. Yeah, that was a really intense time. Anyway, so yeah, she's stuck. And a safeguard from what happened. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's the amygdala locking that sucker away. Okay, let's see. Beata. Hello. Good to see you again. Glad that you were able to make the stream. Sorry Girl is saying, Bug Bean, it does get easier. She's talking about the plural, and it looks like she's addressing it the other way. It's basically learning a new way to live that in a way you've always lived, just never aware of it. Yeah, exactly. For us, it was as though, okay, you've got there's the picture of your life, and it's made out of all of these individual puzzle pieces. And you've been carefully fitting it together, and it forms a picture. And then all of a sudden somebody comes along, takes your diagnosis, shoves it underneath, and then flips the whole goddamn thing upside down. Still got all the same pieces, but the picture is completely different. And you find out that there's a lot more pieces missing than you thought. So yeah, it does take a while to get used to it. And this is where the denial will creep in. Because D.I.D is so fantastical. It is so bizarre, and it is still out there. Damn it, it's autofocusing again. Stop doing that. So, you know what, I'm just going to take these off again because I see better without them. And I do this every time, I know. And maybe this is the point where one of us is switching in or not. I'm not sure. It might be data since we're going into technical stuff. So, last of our liquid breakfast. No, it's not alcohol. It's carnation. Ugh. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah. It's... You're never aware of it, and it just completely catches you surprise. And this is the main reason of that exact rabbit hole of doubt, that spiral, that denial. This is why we made Trauma Doesn't Lie. Because if there was one damn thing that we took away from all the years with our therapist, it was that. Trauma doesn't lie. Because it presents an inescapable wall against your denial, because you are put into the position of going, I have trauma. Where did the trauma come from? I have these physical effects. I have these relationship effects. I have these sexual effects. I have all of this crap that is spilling out, and I don't know where it's coming from. It's coming out because there's something there. Trauma doesn't lie. If you've got the trauma, you've got an underlying event. So for us, it's proven that, okay, this can't be real. I'm just making this all up. Maybe I'm just judging these people too harshly. I don't remember any of this. How did this happen? And then this can't be real. I must be faking. You know, must be. And then all of a sudden, boom, you hit that wall. Trauma doesn't lie. A plus B equals C. And you can go round and round, but you always come back to it. And that's what we've used to keep ourselves from backsliding into that comfortable rut that we were accustomed to. So, as we've said, sorry. Okay, so onwards, because we've been seeing a lot of things. So yeah, Bug Bean, hang in there. And we know that you've been with us a long time, so hang in there. You're not alone. Not alone. Okay, so Let's see. Yeah, okay. Rose is saying don't try to push for the plural language right away. Sometimes I see systems over applying the first person plural when singular is actually useful for distinguishing needs. Yeah, exactly what she said right there. Sometimes we think we should just let her run the stream, or them run the stream, sorry. See, right there, when you're referring to another system, you know that somebody is feminine, but the whole system is not feminine, so do you refer to them as the sex of the alter that's in the body at this point, regardless of the sex of the body, or do you still continually refer to the system as a whole? See, this is where the stuff gets tricky. It's almost like learning a whole new language. So, Ness, hello, welcome. Don't believe we've seen you on the stream before. If you have, then you pretty much know how this works. So, hi, let's get to your question here. Hi, I have an alter that is terrified of other people and doesn't want the body interacting with others. Other parts are more comfortable and want to start working/dating, but she is not open to it. Any tips would be appreciated. Thanks, y'all. Yeah, she's terrified. Absolutely. The whole system has been taught to evade danger. It's perfectly natural what she's feeling. Unfortunately, this does become a self-perpetuating trap. If you look at everything in your life, and we are speaking from experience, okay, we have wasted most of our 50 years in fear, in doubt, in self-recrimination, in guilt. And we didn't even know why we were doing it until about 5 years ago. 5, 6, I can't calculate it right now. But yeah, because we were afraid. Constantly afraid. We used to run around the house every night 3 times, making sure that every single window was locked, every single door was locked, every single shade was drawn, the curtains were drawn. It would literally get so bad that we would go around the house with our rifle over our shoulder because we were thoroughly, completely, utterly convinced that there was someone in the house and they were going to harm us. This is also why we sold our guns. We only had one. It was an heirloom from my grandfather's uncle. Anyway, it's not like you're going to do much with a single shot 22, but still, it was the fact that we had hit the point where we realized that this was getting dangerous, and we had no clue of the cause. We wouldn't find it out until decade later or more. But prime example of how that fear and that passive influence was shaping our behavior. That trauma was shaping our behavior well beyond. Now, to get to the second part, now that that alter has gotten some validation. Yes, here, alter, we don't want to switch you, but we're talking directly to you. You are valid. Your fear is valid. You have a good reason to feel this way. But you're letting them win. If you stay in darkness, if you stay afraid all the time, and we know it's hard to get over. We know better than anybody. And everybody in this chat can probably tell you exactly the same thing in one form or another. You have to take that power back. You had power taken away from you. You were helpless. You could not help it. It was not your fault. But now you can take that power back, because if you're content to live in fear with that fear that they instilled in you, you're letting them win. Don't let them win. Don't let them win. They've done enough to you already. We know you're afraid. Talk to your headmates. Talk to the rest of your system and let them know what you need to feel safe. If you're going out to the grocery store or someplace that scares you, and you know that you have to do it, or a social situation like work or dating, you have to remember that not everybody is going to be a threat. Are there threats out there? Yes. But you're bigger now. You are in control now. Now tell the others in your system what it is that you need to feel safe. Now, system as a whole, okay, talking to you now, you need to listen and be prepared to do and meet those needs as long as they're reasonable. If this means sticking a stuffed animal in your purse and taking it to the store, do it. It's a small thing. And we found with our cooperation on some of these harder issues that just those little things make all the world of difference. Most of us, most of our alters inside, most of the troubled and the hurt ones, and even the persecutors and the prosecutors, I know that's not a thing per system, but I swear sometimes it is. They just want to be heard. They just want to be heard. They want somebody to say, oh, that's scary as, I'm sorry. What can we do to make it better? So rest of the system, reach out to that alter, reach out to the rest of the system. No judgment. Do what you need to feel safe. Even if that includes walling yourself off in your room or safe space or wherever it is that you go when you're uncomfortable. Let them take over. You don't have to be COCON all the time. And that's scary. We're working on that. Chris, me, Data are letting go of that fear, letting go of the fear that the others are not going to let us come back. It's that grasping for control. So just listen to each other. Being afraid is okay. It's natural. You have a right to be afraid. Just try to take that next step. Don't let them win within your comfort zone. Find your comfort zone. Set your boundaries with the others. It's a give and take. You're all stuck with each other. So it's best to work together. And believe me, we don't always get together or even work together. We're still learning on it, okay? We're not lecturing you. We're just hoping that this helps. Heart to heart, us to you, okay? Hope that helps you somewhat. Now we're going to read the comments full of good advice that other people are probably giving you or saying the same thing that we just did. So hope that does help. Okay, let's see. So, yes, Ness, apologies. Hope that helps out there. Hang on, cat. Okay. Okay, Starry is saying, Ness, in my opinion, maybe ask this alter why they're afraid of others and then work from there. Help them in a slow and comfortable way as to not scare them. Hope that helps. Yeah. Be aware of triggers in there, though. Biscuit, hello. Don't think we've seen you before. Welcome, Biscuit, to the stream. Let's see. Roses is saying, do you have a concrete understanding of why she's afraid of interacting with others? Like if you worked up to through whatever she holds. That okay, yeah. Starry Girl and Roses, you're going for it. Crafting system. If you've worked on learning more about your own inner world, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, headspace, inner world, whatever you want to call it. For us, it's a gray fog with defined areas. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry, you're commenting. You're not asking. You're commenting. You're asking a question, not commenting. Come on, break. Okay. Okay, if you've worked more about learning your inner world, I think that's what it calls. What was that like for any of you? Like I said, it's a gray fog. It's always been there on the inside of our head. There are defined areas within it. There's the glade, which we did a very rough VR recreation of. It's called Inside Our Headspace, the glade, or something like that. We've meant to go back and do other areas of the headspace, but that is the area where Arielana, who is a protector, she has that area, and that's where Christopher lives and Susie live. John exists there within a bubble of his own. That caused a great deal of stress between the system parts just to get Arielana to do that, to let him in, because he carries so much trauma. So it's more or less nebulous. Like I said, it's like a thick gray fog. And then there's a couple of unpleasant areas, such as the mansion where John broke during that party. And Mimi came out. There are several dark corners. Mimi has her room, which essentially is just a door hanging there in space and a sense of what's behind it. I guess it just kind of shifts itself to whatever need we may have. I guess ours is a lot less structured than others. We'll see if it evolves as time goes on. It's stayed pretty static for us, though. yeah, it just kind of does that crafting system. It just exists for us. Maybe some of the others will have a good idea of theirs and be able to explain what their headspace is like. So let's see here. Bugbean says, I'm not pushing it, just curious. Okay, yeah, so she was talking about the pronouns. That's the word. Okay, let's see here. It just doesn't feel natural for me to generally use we, and other systems don't seem to have any issues with doing so. Why are you worried about what other systems do? Do what feels right for you. Don't judge yourself by us or any other system out there. Everybody's unique, everybody's individual. Systems, especially. Dear God, I mean, when you factor in all the variables, geez, come on. Do what makes you feel good, Bugby. What's right for you. And you're the only one who knows. I mean, other than obviously a therapist or whatnot, but even there, they can just tell you. Always remember, folks, your therapist is a resource. It's a tool. They are not in control of your journey. You are. It's their job to guide you along the way, but not to give you a guide book, if that makes any sense. So don't arbitrarily set your standards by somebody else. So enough on that. So yeah. So move at your own speed, Bugbeam. If you feel comfortable saying I, then say I. Let's see here. Okay, Ness says, appreciate it, Starry Girl. Thanks. Roses, I think it's the fear of being hurt by others, that others aren't trustworthy or will seek to hurt us. Ness says, yeah, absolutely. Biscuit says, I have a question. Are alters separate entities, or are they all part of the host? I get the alters are all part of one body, but they are all different people. You're a bit confused by that. So are we. Welcome to one of the fundamental paradoxes of having D.I.D. there, Biscuit. Okay, here's the way that it works, according to the best of our understanding. And if you want more detail, we're going to point you towards our video called Who in the Hell Are You People? Alters, and all about them, because we go into detail on exactly what alters are, what causes them, the various classifications or jobs that they do, and do really touch upon that more deeply than we're going to do here. So go ahead and look that up. Who in the Hell Are You People? Alters, and all about them. Because it's much more detailed. Okay, here's the nuts and bolts version of it. When a child experiences repeated severe trauma, between the ages of birth to about 10 years old, it depends upon the child and the individual and the circumstances, and when the ego states congeal. Generally, between birth to 7 to 10 years old, it varies. If a child experiences repeated severe trauma over that course of time, the brain, the amygdala in particular, recognizes that the consciousness, the personality, the body, as it were, is not capable of dealing with the event mentally or physically. So it literally encodes the memory of the trauma as it's happening onto your brain, just like a VCR or a tape recorder would. In fact, there is scientific proof now through MRIs that shows that this happens. There is a very specific region of the brain and a very specific layer of cells that is responsible for this dissociative behavior. So at that point, when the amygdala locks that memory away, now this is where it gets a little bit fuzzy and we start dealing with the 3 different levels. Okay, PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, is a primary structural dissociation. It's one ANP, you, and one EP, or emotional part, which is the event itself, the trauma, the way that you were feeling and acting and experiencing during the trauma itself. So Vietnam vets would have this a lot. Veterans will have this a lot, where they will have repeating images. They can't get this thought over their head. If you have a severe accident in a car, anyone can experience PTSD, not just systems or OSTD systems. Anyone can. Where it gets more complicated is where you have more than one trauma. This can lead to CPTSD, or complex PTSD, which is still one A and P, still you, but numerous traumatic events, EPs, emotional parts that are locked away there. This is exactly the same way that OSDD 1A and 1B systems work, is you've got many emotional parts and one ANP, or apparently normal part. You, the part that's responsible for dealing with the outside world. D.I.D. takes it one step farther down to a tertiary level, or the third level of structural dissociation. This is where the trauma has been so intense and so repetitive that the brain has literally formed separate personalities. When we're born, okay, we have all of these, they're called ego states that are floating around, and basically they're just basic perceptions, basic feelings. Hot, cold, hungry, things like that. Warm, comfort, these concepts, and these are the ego states. I am feeling happy right now. I am feeling sad right now. Hungry, thirsty. These are all the ego states. These are the perceptions that form as we grow and get more experienced and are exposed to more things by our parents and society as a whole. And these congeal and all come together right around the age of 7 to 10 into one coherent personality. You, normally. In the case of D.I.D., the trauma and the severity and repetitive nature of it keeps the ego states from coming together into one person. Instead, what you end up with is a cobbled together arrangement of this part goes to work, this part goes to school. They're ego states that are more congealed, as it were, than just those feelings. For example, the part of you that needs to go to work feels the need to provide, to be secure, because hungry, because thirsty. You see the way that this is working? So, D.I.D., we end up with many ANPs, like for instance, in our part, Chris, me, the switchboard operator, as it were, Data, who's intellect, Percival, who is literature, love of reading, things like that. That's the way it sorts out. And you still have all of the EPs, or those emotional parts, or those alters. They are the trauma memories. Your perception, you, at that point in time, during the trauma that's been locked away. And then later on, when your life circumstances steady, this often happens in middle age, right around the same time that it happened to us, when your life has went, okay, it's calming out, and then all of a sudden the amygdala, that part of your brain responsible for this, goes, we're safe now. Now we can work on this. And all of a sudden it goes, here's the filing cabinet, we're going to deal with this trauma. Slaps it down on the desk, and your life goes, because you had no idea that any of this stuff was there, because it's hidden. D.I.D. is a hidden condition because of exactly the way that it's formed. The brain encodes this stuff, takes the VCR tape, sticks it in the filing cabinet, and promptly forgets about it until later, when that chemical reaction kicks in. So that is believe it or not, that is the short explanation of what alters are, how they form, and how D.I.D. itself forms. So hope that answers your question. If not, go hit up the other video. Who in the hell are you people? Alters and all about them. So, good question. Very good question. Okay, so that was from Biscuit. Yes, excellent question. Biscuit, okay, before we go on, okay, yeah, Stargirl says the puzzle picture analogy is perfect. Yep. Okay, before we go on, we've got about 17 people on the stream. Most of you guys have been here before, but let's go ahead and go over the rules, because just to make sure, our streams are always very nice because we have moderators that will ban people who cause problems at the drop of a hat. So here's the rules for the Infinity System, live streams, and also the channel itself when you're leaving comments. You have the right to your opinion. You have the right to express your opinion. You do not have the right to abuse other people with it. Don't stir shit, don't start crap, don't troll, don't use excessive foul language, and don't personally attack people. We can deal with heavy stuff without being crass, crude, or trolling. If you fail to abide by these rules and recommendations, we will ban you. And we won't feel bad about it. 1 iota. Because we've been on the internet, as we said many times before, a very long time. We've been admins, and we will shut you down, so don't waste your time. So, those are the rules. Everybody always follows them, and we always have a great time, but just in case, now you know. And knowing is half the battle. Or the more you know, depending upon which area you came from. We got them both. No, you can't come on camera. Okay, so back to it. Them are the rules, all right? So stick to them. Okay, let's see here. Roses is talking about Ness. If you're able to, okay, yeah, she's talking to Ness and repeating these things here. So, Mama Cass, hey, good to see you. You snuck in on me. Just got in. Have you found a new therapist? Was worried about you. Not yet. We've put in the preliminary calls. But now it's the waiting to hear back, and if you don't hear back, then you have to recall. It's just kind of secret confession. We are going to get a new therapist. We are still looking. We're not blowing this off. But we're also kind of in a space of mind here where it's like we've been in therapy for years now, literally, and a lot of things that our therapist was telling us during our last meeting, which did not go well because everybody was still reacting and going, blah, and we weren't really listening to a goddamn thing that she said there. And then I kind of wish that we could go back and have her say all those things again. I mean, yeah, we could replay it, data could, but it's so excruciating. Anyway, she was saying how far we'd come and the fact that, when she'd first met us, we couldn't even go outside, and just all these progressive steps that we've made. And she's absolutely right. That's not what we wanted to hear. We wanted to hear, oh, therapist will stay. It's okay. Calm down, system. But that's not it. And that's not the way that she's worked with us. And that's how we value her. But we have the tools now. The gist of this, get to the point, Infinity System. We got the tools. We have the knowledge. We're practicing our skills. We're practicing the DBT. We're making it a part of our lives now. And it's not that we don't want to go without therapy. We don't. But it's kind of at the point where it's like, okay, this is not going to change. This is not going to go away. These are the same tools that we're going to have to use. We're still going to have to use them. We're still going to have to keep going. So let's adjust to things and see where we're at. Because now the upshot of all this, like I said, we're not avoiding, but this is kind of to determine what our therapist was saying, how far we have come. What issues do we still need to work on? Do we need to delve into heavy trauma therapy? Or do we need to step back from that? Because it comes out on its own and it's just another trauma. You kind of hit that wall. And we are maintaining, and we're doing pretty well. And we do rely on our wife to let us know when we're stepping sideways and losing that perspective. So yeah, we're still in the shopping around, waiting for them to get back to us phase. But we're kind of getting in there and seeing, how much we can do on our own. Because at the end, the therapist or not, we have to do all of this. We have to be the ones to do all the work and the heavy lifting, like it or not. Two choices. You can either curl up in a hole and waste more of our lives in fear and doubt and guilt and not enjoying life at all, or we can take what we've learned and keep moving on, pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. So there you have it. Long explanation, or long answer rather. Okay, so let's see, where were we? This. Okay, Roses is talking about the theory of structural dissociation. To Biscuit, yep. She just said it in a much briefer time. Let's see. Yeah, she's backing that up. Okay. Nessa saying, powerful, thank you so much. Infinity System launched a journal about tonight. You're welcome. This is why we say, it's not just a trite catchphrase, guys. It really has meaning. You are loved. You are strong. Think about it. We're all strong. We survived this shit. We may still be going through it, but we survived it. And you're not alone. And that last one is the most important. If there's anything that we're trying to get through on our channel, other than the little stories, obviously, uh, is that you're not alone. Because that's exactly how we felt when we got diagnosed. It's like, oh my God, what the? You're telling me what? What? So we go looking. And, which of course inevitably led us to YouTube. And luckily we happened on the entropy system. And they were a big help. And so when they stepped down, we decided, hey, okay, we kind of need to step up because we're not alone. And there are so many people out there who just want some straight talk, so here we are. So no, Ness. I'm sorry, was it Ness? Yes, Ness. You're not alone. Okay. Let's see here. What does metaphysical entities mean? Okay, I'm going to let... Yeah, Roses, you're doing fine on that conversation. We're not going to step in that particular one. And yes, Biscuit, it is a little strange. Everything with D.I.D. is strange, okay? And this is where you have to be careful, because some systems do have, you can back it up in the chat log to know what she's talking about, but some systems do have some very bizarre alters in parts of themselves. But here's the deal. That doesn't make them invalid. D.I.D. is strange in and of itself by its very nature. We have Percival. Somebody else might have a wolf. Does that mean that the wolf is less valid than Percival is? Just simply because it's not a person? We would argue no. But it can get tricky, particularly when you've got people out there claiming to be Naruto or something like that. It's like, we're not dissing on anybody. And like we've said in the third part of Trauma Doesn't Lie, we believe you. Okay? We're not judging. But yes, we do need to recognize the human tendency to go, what? So yeah, you kind of just have to suspend disbelief, particularly as a system, because this stuff is going to come out. Your alters are going to come out. We have an elf, Arielana. She identifies as an elf. She's not all that active, except with plants and gardening and things, but she's there, and that's how she identifies. So who are we to judge? So yeah, just suspend disbelief. It's whack. It's whack. But yeah. Okay, so the sort of thing alters. Yeah. Okay, sorry, we're just catching up here. Something I think is going to reset my awareness so this might start becoming aware. Sorry, we're just catching up. Inside yourself lives it. Okay, yeah. They're talking back and forth, but there are a few things in here that we'd like to address here. Crafting system, or we're going to read the second part of the paragraph. Like, I've started becoming aware of there potentially being other people 2 years ago, but there have been little memories surfacing, comments from other people that there was awareness a decade ago. Yeah, it will leak through. And as you find out, once you are diagnosed and you find out your system, that's going to happen a lot more often. You're going to get those little... For us, it's a never-ending cascade of the little bits of our life that never made any damn sense, but now we realize were trauma-related as a direct effect of the trauma and the effects that it had on us and our programming and our manipulating. And it can be something as stupid as eating crab apples off of a tree every morning on the way to school. And you thought that you just simply really, really liked crab apples and would eat them even if they were rotten and dried up off the tree just simply because you liked them that much. No, young Chris. It actually turns out that you were being denied food and weren't being fed on a regular basis, so your body was naturally chowing on whatever the hell it came to hand, and those crab apples were there. So here you have a nice memory of something that we enjoyed in our past and was a fond memory, and all of a sudden you go, oh, is there no part of my life that has not been touched by this filth? and this trauma. And it's for us, it's a continual running bout with frustration, because that's exactly what we're going through right now. It's just that. All these little bits and pieces falling into place, and not a lot of them are pleasant. So yeah. Yeah, it shows. It shows. Okay, so let's see here. Lisa's saying, think that would be too scary, thinking something outside of yourself lives in you, hard enough to deal with different aspects and personalities that are you. Yeah, and this is where therapists and the professionals will, there's a thin line between, damn, I can't think of it. There's a point that we were going to make between other types of mental illnesses and DID, because if you're hearing a voice coming from outside of your head, this is normally like, I think it's don't quote us, we're not professionals, but I think it's like schizophrenia. A quick Google search or somebody will dare prove us wrong. But anyway, they hear voices and see things outside of their heads, and normally this is a great deal of concern. A DID system will hear and see things both outside and inside, or at least we do. We hallucinate. We see things that are not there. Generally, people at the left corner of our vision, and these are not just, oh, there's something standing. It's a shadow at the form of our eye. Look over to the side and they disappear, or you look at them and they disappear. No, ours stay there for a good second or two, looking at us, and then we'll look away and look back and they're gone. Yeah, just like in the movies. And we'll hear music. We'll hear voices mostly. Those generally come from the right-hand side. It's like we just filled in our third nurse practitioner on this, and it's like for our last med check. So you're taking your meds, yes. How's it doing? Okay. Do you have any hallucinations? Yes. We've been telling you people this, but there's not much that we can do because it's the DID. It's not schizophrenia or the other conditions. And she's just kind of like, yeah. So there you go. Okay, so let's see here. Before we go on, but yeah, this is for Rose. Oh, that's okay, Lisa. You guys make good comments, and we'll comment on them. Okay, my therapist once said that there is no PTSD without at least underlying relational trauma, because when you're raised securely attached, your acute trauma reaction doesn't get chronic and form into PTSD. Interesting. I can see where your therapist was going there. I'm not sure that we agree all the way, but that's an interesting point. We'll have to give that one further thought. But Spindle Sunset, hello, welcome to the channel. Hello, I'm new. I have a question for you and any other systems that wish to answer, but I don't want to mess up and offend anyone. And it's sort of a long question due to 150 character limit. Spindle, first, welcome, and ask any damn thing you want. Don't be afraid for it to be a long question. And you're not going to mess up or offend anybody. We are all big boys and girls here, and as we went over, the rules are, you got a right to your opinion, you got a right to express your opinion. Just don't bash other people over the heads with it or troll or do any of that crap, or we'll ban you. Other than that, this is a free-form conversation. We are not the show. You guys are. So ask away, please. And by the time that we're done with this, you probably already have, since we're constantly running about 5 minutes behind on catch-up. So, Spindle, hopefully we'll see your comment below. Okay, Biscuit says, you guys are genuinely my favorite DID channel. Thank you. It's so refreshing seeing stuff about male-bodied systems and older systems, not just younger system voices. Thank you for that. You're welcome, Biscuit. That's another reason that we started this channel, was because there just wasn't any representation out there for older systems, and particularly male older systems. I mean, I know that there are a few male body systems out there, but not really any Gen X or older, so it's kind of like, there's a hole that needs filled there, and here we are. We can share our experience for what it's worth. So we're glad that folks are responding to that. We're glad that folks are checking out and that they're getting something out of the channel and the programming. So thank you. Appreciate that. Hey, look at us. We actually took a compliment without self-denigration. Something we've been working on. Okay, so, yeah, thank you, Biscuit. Let's see. Mama Cast Reborn says they hope to find a good fit on the therapist. It's hard to find a good fit. Yeah, that's why we were so... were slash, well, we've let go of most of it because we realized that she was right. Our trauma therapist was a great fit for us because she was just a brass tack, straight to the wall, no nonsense, don't blow smoke up our ass type of person, and we value that. Just don't mince about, don't play words, don't try to do anything like that. Just give it to us straight up. That's how we are, that's how we act. What you see is what you get. Even if it might be a different what you see every time you see us. Okay, so sorry, D.I.D humor. Okay, so, yeah. Now, Biscuit, no shade to younger systems, though. We're all in this together. Yeah, absolutely. And, if our perspective, helps you guys, since we've lived with this a lot longer, and not only that, but lived with it as a singular person until we were diagnosed, we can bring you that dual perspective. And as we've said before, and this is kind of a whack line of thought, but because we are an older male, like it or not, because of the patriarchal nature of our society and Western society, if our getting out there and our representing D.I.D helps to give it a little bit of extra credibility or oomph, or maybe makes people go, maybe this isn't so weird, then work it. It just benefits all of us. We're not deliberately trying to do that, but we're aware of it, and it's there. We don't want to become D.I.D dad. But we're not going to judge who or what can draw strength from us. We're just throwing the rocks out into the pond and seeing what ripples start. You're the ripples, we're the rocks. I hope we don't hit you in that. Wow, that analogy is not very nice, come to think of it. Anyway. Let's see here. Let's see. Mama Cass, taking a break is sometimes a good idea, talking about the therapist, but I hope you have one waiting to take you in when you need it. We can always go back to our main mental health provider. They just don't have it. They're there, but they just can't help us because of our condition, and the amount of work that we've already done outstrips their resources. We would be going in to talk about this stuff with their therapist, and they'd be going, have a nice day, So yeah, so we got to have that right person, So we'll see. Okay, so Beata says they've been experiencing dissociation, depersonalization, derealization lately. Watching the movie that is your life, huh? Yeah, that's weird. It's just blackouts. Sometimes I feel touch and pain. It's scary. I don't want to tell anybody because it sounds too scary. You're telling us. Not alone. It's okay. The depersonalization and the derealization, and it's just Beata. It's we'll be sitting there just fine, and then just we found that dissociation is our natural state of being. We'd been doing it our whole life, but never even realized it. If we don't continually focus our attention on the here and now, or it's a fight sometimes we will be, we'll just be watching, TV or something, and then all of a sudden there's what we call the pullback effect, which is all of a sudden we're sitting about 6 feet behind ourselves, or it feels that way. We're not physically looking at the back of our head or anything, thank God, or we'd have to see our bald spot all the time. But all of a sudden it's like everything, we're watching a movie, and we're just a person sitting in a seat, the body's the seat, and we're just watching this movie that is our life, and it's the damnedest sensation. And it's just, and the blackouts, are scary. We were just saying earlier in the stream that we lost an hour last week, I think it was. We went out onto the porch to sit down and relax, and it was 8:03, and we came back inside only to discover that an hour had passed, and we had no idea where the hell it went. For us, it was just a boink. Yeah, it's scary, absolutely. So no, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out. What did I do? Live chat. Sorry, hit the tablet the wrong way, thought we lost you. Okay, so let's see here. Catching back. Okay, yeah, Lurleen Lumpkin, welcome. I like that name. Didn't see you sneak in, don't think we've seen you before, welcome. Love the shirt. Where did we buy it? Percival and Mimi bought it for us at Walmart. It was on the clearance rack, and they insisted that we get some color and fashion. And Data and I just basically went, okay, whatever. So yeah, this is a result of the direct, passive, and direct influence of Mimi and Percival, the fashion conscious members of our system. Excuse us for drinking all the time. We are very dehydrated at the moment. We have to remind ourselves. That whole drink water thing, it's real. Oh yeah, crafting system is saying, Beata, yeah, I think we already answered your question and gave you advice. Talk. Drop a comment on our page. We're not on them, but we know that there are Discords and whatnot set up for D.I.D. folks. I would stay off of Twitter if I were you. Seriously, we have not seen anything good come out of Twitter. Anyway. Mama Cass, but talk, Beata. Find someone online. Maybe you got a good friend. Find somebody. There has to be somebody that's going to listen to you non-judgmentally. Like I said, we'll listen, chat away. Stick in the comments. Folks will support you. Guarantee you. Any real advice that we haven't already given? Just have faith in yourself. Have faith that you're not going to get lost. That you will come back, that they'll let you come back. Building trust between your system is one of the most challenging things, but it's also one of the most necessary things. So, and as Mama Cass says, doing the skills is hard. DBT. Dialectic behavioral therapy, also known as distress tolerance. When you start to feel those feelings of being overwhelmed, and you feel that derealization, depersonalization coming on, divert. Find something else. Go read a book, go take a walk, put on your favorite TV show, something like that. TV shows and movies, particularly for systems, can be a great way to stabilize yourselves because we often go back to them and watch the same things over and over because they're predictable. We know what's going to happen. We know the story. We know how it's going to make us feel. We know that there's a resolution at the end of it. And so we will watch it again and again and again to recenter ourselves. That exact principle is why we created the safe space, so that the littles will have something dependable that is the same way every time that they can go back to and depend on. Other than, minor changes in the set and whatnot, we've streamlined as it's went on. But yeah, there's psychology behind what we do, or Percival does. Anyway, since that's kind of his thing. So yeah, Stargirl is saying, Beata, get that, 100% get it, and I think we all do. You can talk here if you choose to. Yes, literally. My advice is try making a grounding box. Thank you, Starry. Totally missed that. So you finally figured that in. If you guys need to see our grounding box, again, let us know. So yeah, great advice, Stargirl. See, Beata, they're not alone. Right here is proof. This works. Okay, so, yeah, they're all saying grounding and safety kit, yes, so, let's see, Mama Cassian, okay, Mama Cass wants to know, I've seen other systems call on an altar to front like they say they were going to a store for a kid. How is that possible? Can a system choose who fronts? Yes, and no. If you are used to co-conning a lot and you have cooperation between alters, yes, you can switch willingly without consequence. There's that catchphrase there, without consequence. Because if you push it or hard switch, or even worse, force somebody to switch, this is going to cause what's called a TITH, a transitional interpersonality thunderclap headache. Yes, they have a name. These are the brutal headaches that you get when you've been switching, or you're about to switch, or it's been a switchy day. These are caused by the increase and decrease, the sudden increase and decrease of the blood pressure in your brain vessels. And they're bad, but that's what's causing them. That's your consequence, particularly if you're hard switching or trying to force someone to the front. Now, what you're talking about more in your comment here is voluntarily switching, which has to have the consent of everyone involved. And normally it's done amongst A&Ps. For example, if you did go into a toy store, you might have your little one there co-conning, where they're at the front and experiencing things, what's going on, but they're not by themselves. They haven't completely fronted or taken over. We don't like taken over because it implies a adversarial type of thing, and it can be. Christopher, when he wants to front, we cannot stop him. He'll just, boom, I'm in, and then boom, I'm out. He doesn't know any better. So yeah, it can be involuntary. Don't force it. Dear God, don't force it. But again, and this exact situation all comes back to system communication. Take the time, literally, to sit down and get to know yourselves, each part, because you may think that, oh, this alter knows everything about every other alter. No. 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 So yeah, it's intersystem communication for sure. So yeah, you can choose who front. Alters can be forced to switch by NTs and everyone else. It's reprehensible. It's low. Don't do it. That is not cool. Don't say, well, I don't want to talk to you. Let's have X alter come out. That's messed. Just don't. No. I'm talking more to people who might do that, obviously, who are not here on the channel. So, hope that helps, Mama Cass. Don't worry about that right off the bat. It'll come with time. Okay, hopefully. It has for us. We're better able to work with each other now, far better. It's not always easy. Sometimes Percival just does not want to come out and record. He doesn't want to do it. And if we try to force him, he'll just dig in his heels. He's going to do it when he wants to do it, on his own schedule, on his own time, and we have had to learn the hard way through successions of those headaches that you cannot force an alter to do something that they don't want to do, and you shouldn't. That's it in a nutshell. So yeah. Okay, yeah, Roses depends on the system and the alters they're in. Okay, Biscuit says. Okay, yeah. And actually, yeah, Biscuit's bringing up a good point here. She says, or I'm sorry, they say, we have an alien in our system and a couple of fictives here and there. It can be quite strange to think about. Most of them come from our childhood love for space and childhood TV shows and games. Yes, that is called a positive interject. Percival, Rosemarie, Nigel. These are alters that are not trauma holders that are formed of those ego states, of which social and media interactions and all of the influences that we were exposed to, the media, TV, radio, over the course of time when these traumas were occurring. These are the things that we clung to, or the people that we clung to, since the positive interjects are often an amalgam or a mishmash of all of various feelings or things, the ego states again. So yeah, that's what you're talking about. There is a positive interject. Any positive influence or an influence that you felt was safe has now been created by your system. Now, from what we understand, they can also leave when they see that or fuse when they see that their role is fulfilled. We haven't had this happen to us. We're not going anywhere. It's just how we are. Most of us are trauma locked, time locked, and the ANPs, we're all used to each other basically. So yeah, Nigel and Percival were the last ANPs to come out. And that was just simply because they'd been there all along, just hadn't. Yeah, so it's not that, like I said, we don't judge. That's why. Positive interjects can come from any source. And it does not make you invalid. Okay, so Roses has given some great advice here. We'll let you guys backtrack and read it here because the scrolling has gotten out of hand for us. Is it grounding kit? Okay, what can be used? Okay, yeah. Grounding kit, she's going on. Things that Rosa's saying. Beata was asking what goes into a grounding kit. Yeah, and yeah, they're going. Beata Spindle says, okay, good. Okay, we're getting to you, Spindle. We're glad that you answered your question. Yeah, Beata, anything? Touch, taste, hear, scent, sound. Orange oil for us. We stick it under our nose. Anything that's going to remind you that this sound, this scent, this touch, this whatever is here now and wasn't present then. Helps to pull you out. Strong sense for us. We'll never forget the first time that our therapist, we were having a flashback and she grabbed rosemary, the herb, sorry, and shoved it under our nose, and it was just like, oh my God, it was just this shocking, and that was the whole point. She's like, yeah, I'm trying to shock your brain back to now. It's like, thanks. So yeah, strong sense, hard edges, little things that'll help to ground you. Okay, so yeah, okay. Spindle Sunset. We're going to focus on hers or theirs right now. Okay, here goes. D.I.D. awareness is blossoming thanks to the internet and Brave systems coming forward and sharing with the world. But as a Gen Z, I noticed the uptick. I know where this is going. I think I noticed the uptick of people suddenly figuring out that they have D.I.D. with many fictives from recent popular media. Don't worry, I believe them. I don't accuse anyone of fake claiming. It's hard enough to be believed in the first place. But I worry about people thinking it's fun and trendy, and they don't realize that nobody should want D.I.D. It's not always quirky fun surrounded by friends in my head that TikTok and YouTube shows. It's preventable and due to awful trauma. Romanticizing, that's the word. You have thoughts about that? How can I be a good ally but also encourage my peers that D.I.D. is not a trend, nor is it cute? Pew, okay. Question over. Excellent question. Excellent points. And you've already more or less covered all the salient points to be had there. Yes, D.I.D. awareness is blossoming over the internet, and of course the big catchphrase is "end the stigma" or things like that. Okay, yeah, there's a stigma around it because it's a heavily stigmatized and weird ass disorder, especially for us. Turn our entire life inside out and upside down, backwards and forwards. Thank you very much, without even by your leave. And as we were just explaining with the positive interjects and how they're formed, yeah, they can be just about anything for valid systems. Now, we're coming to the crux of it. And in Trauma Doesn't Lie, we came about as close to stepping in this particular morass as we were willing to at the time. We've been around a while longer now, so here's our thoughts. Systems are valid. But, here it comes. There are many other conditions out there that are very similar to D.I.D. For example, OSDD. CPTSD can often be mistaken for it. But D.I.D. has very defined, specific criteria in order to be diagnosed with D.I.D. There has to be, and it's in the DSM-5, the DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual. This is version 5. I guess they're working on version 6 anyway, which contains the guidelines. This is the checklist. If you have D.I.D., you have to have these things. And this is where diagnosis is vital, okay? I think this is called cisgen or something. There's all these terms floating around there, and I know that probably people are already starting to go, wow, you're a cisman or something like that. No, this is where it's at. We believe in science. We believe in fact, because science and facts are the only thing that you have to cling to as the truth when things this complicated and this weird and this things that are so nebulous like this are happening. This is how we find out the truth. This is how we deal with these things, is you have to have a foundation to build on. It's like building a house. We're not going to use the biblical example, but it's the same damn thing. You build the foundation first. Your foundation has to be something there. You can't build your foundation off of, I think I have. I read on the internet that I have, or I read on the internet or saw a video where this person, oh yeah, I'm just like that with this one thing. And then all of a sudden, ooh, well, I must be what that person is. We are pro diagnosis for those reasons. If you can, if you have the resources and you can get to a clinic or something like that to get in there, get diagnosed. And this goes back to the perspective that we talk about in Trauma Doesn't Lie. And this is why seeking out a professional and getting a diagnosis is so important, again, for another reason. Because we, being in it, do not have that proper perspective in order to accurately tell what disorder or what it might be that's actually wrong with us. Think about it. Our brain has spent the entirety of our life hiding this from us. What makes us think that we are going to have the actual perspective in order to go, oh yes, I have D.I.D. and I have this alter and that, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Oh well, we've already stepped in it this far. We might as well go all the way. In for a penny, in for a pound. Okay. We believe mental illnesses are valid. We believe in diagnosis. We believe in science. We believe in fact. Here are the facts as we currently understand them. And keep in mind, facts and science, okay, is a thing continually in flux. Science is not a hard and fast thing, okay? It's the way that it works. We're continually building upon the things that we found out previously. It's not oh, well, we found out about this and that's all that there is to it. No other further research will ever be done. This is all that we need to know. No, science is an evolving thing, but it depends on facts, okay? The facts currently are that D.I.D. is caused by intense, severe trauma to a child between the ages of 0 to 10. Trauma. What is trauma? Trauma is abuse, sexual, physical, emotional. Trauma is also being in a war zone, not having enough to eat, not having a house, growing up on the streets. Severe D.I.D. is caused, well, all D.I.D. is severe. D.I.D. is caused by severe trauma. You are not a D.I.D. system unless you have the trauma. There is, the whole endogenic system thing, in our opinion, is bullshit. And we just lost probably half of our subscriber base, but I'm sorry. No. It's too complex, guys. You are not qualified to judge that. The professionals are. They spend decades getting those degrees simply so that they can have that perspective and tell you, Mr. X, you have dissociative identity disorder, and here is why. This is what it says in the DSM. You have this, you have this, you have this, you have this. And they don't tell you all this stuff up front. They ask you 20, 30, 40 questions during the series of 5 interviews to determine and rule out that other stuff. And even at the end of it, sometimes they're not sure. So get in there and get diagnosed. Okay? Because other than that, you're not going to know for sure. Now comes the part where, well, I can't get to, or I don't have those kind of facilities, or I can't. Okay. Does this mean that you're not a valid D.I.D. system? No, it does not. It just simply means that you're undiagnosed. It means that you can't be sure. Does that mean that you can't start using the tools for a system? For example, DBT? CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, does that mean that you can't use mindfulness or a grounding box, or that you can't talk to your friends or engage in therapeutic talk? No, of course not. The tools are universal. Use them. Okay? Just because you don't have that piece of paper the way that we do that says diagnosed with does not mean that you may not be actually have it. It just means that you haven't been diagnosed and you can't be sure. And as a result of that, you can't diagnose another. You cannot self-diagnose, and you can't diagnose anybody else unless you are a mental health professional who can do that. Now, the reason that we are so, I don't want to say harsh on this point, but firm on it, is because there are so many other conditions out there that share, it's called comorbidity, conditions that are shared between different conditions. For example, we'll use PTSD and D.I.D. Now, D.I.D, obviously we have PTSD. Okay, let's go with let's just use that. Okay, both a PTSD survivor and a D.I.D survivor will have recurring thoughts, recurring images, can't sleep, night terrors, sleep paralysis. Does that mean that the person that got into a severe car wreck and has this PTSD, does that mean that they now have alters? No, it doesn't. It means that they had that and that they might have something more severe, but they're not going to be qualified to judge that. Here, we'll use a real world example. Your car's acting up. Don't know why. Check engine lights on, but you're not mechanically minded. You don't know. You know how to put gas in. You know how to maybe change the tire and change the air freshener, a little dangly tree. But that's it. You're not a mechanic. Now, the question is, are you going to go into your engine because you suspect that you've got a blown head gasket and your piston has come undone and you need to reseal your O-rings just because you happen to read that or saw it on a YouTube video? No. Hope not. You're going to take it to a reputable mechanic because they've got the experience and they've got the training. And they're going to be able to tell you exactly what the hell's wrong with your car and then present you with a $6,000 bill in order to fix it. But that's the point. The expertise and the knowledge. The disorder is too complex. And unless you're a professional, unless you've got it, you can't diagnose for sure. So get in there. It's free most of the time. Okay? Now, back to those systems. I don't have those resources. Do the best with what you've got. Use those tools, but don't go around claiming to be something that you may not be. Okay? Those are our thoughts. That's about as far as we're willing. We're not here to please everybody. We know we're going to piss some people off with the way that we think. But yeah. Good question. Good point there, Spindle Sunset. And we can see why you would be afraid of asking that and pissing people off. Those are our thoughts. We're sure that others are going to have it. But that's where we're at. We're the hard science. Doesn't invalidate anybody else, but we're the hard science. Because that's all that we have to cling to. Trauma doesn't lie. Facts say the trauma was there. All right, so let's read all the hate comments that we probably just got. Okay, so, wow, that one brought out a rant. Okay, okay, you guys are giving more sense on the grounding boxes. That's good. Like I said, romanticizing. No. It's not fun. Are there good parts to being? Yeah, it's there are times when it can be cool, when it does give you an advantage over NTs. No, I'm not going to name them off the top of my head, but yeah, D.I.D is not all dark. There are fun times. There are positive aspects to it, particularly once your loved ones, become accustomed to the fact that you are more people. But, and this was the thing that we noticed, again, another reason to starting the channel, is that everybody wanted to just avoid the trauma, avoid the hard stuff, avoid talking about the nitty gritty and the crap that we deal with day to day in between those good stretches, those good days, that fun stuff with D.I.D. when you get to sit down and Mimi's putting on her makeup. Yeah, that's fun. But let's talk about the real stuff. And that's why we're here. So give it straight up. So that's all we're going to say on that. We went on long enough, and here we go. Okay, so let's see. It's either like we're making up a story in our head or static. Okay, Alexa, really cute cat wants its name. Oh, the thumbnail. And hello, Alexa. QKS, don't think we've seen you around. That is Colby, who is one of a pair of brothers. That's Colby, and there's also Cheddar. And he was deciding to sit inside the castle from the little the safe space there. So, okay. Okay, so okay, so Cat Beta, love to see your grounding box. Think we're talking to you. To us, I mean, sorry. She's saying, thank you all guys, it's 1 a.m. here in Poland, crying while searching for plastic winking pig toy on eBay for your grounding box. Yeah, little things just all like that. Beta, I'm so glad I could help. I wish you only the best. Let me catch up on comments here, and then if there's nothing, we'll show you our box in a minute. Beta. Don't worry about the spelling, Alexa. Let's see, Lisa wants to... Well, you guys are nailing us to the wall today, aren't you? Do you think Bootstraps will ever be on a video? Maybe he could show us how to fix something. I get a mental image of a guy who's impatient and swears a lot like my dad when he was fixing stuff. Yeah, that's dead on. Bootstraps comes out when there's something that needs to be done. Plumbing that needs to be fixed. Car that needs to be worked on in some way, shape, or form. He does the dirty work, and anything and everything that gets in his way of simply doing the task and doing it as efficiently as possible and as well as possible is an impediment and is an irritant. If you're not going to help me, then get out of my way. Whether or not he'll ever appear, I have no clue. I'm not going to rule it out, or we're not going to rule it out, but I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know. He's kind of curious. He's kind of still a mystery to us because, for example, it had never occurred to us that he would actually want to front for a purpose other than just fixing stuff. But after a conversation when he was fully fronting with our wife when we were dealing with a crisis last year, he let her know to ask us to let him out so that he could have some front time, and then maybe he wouldn't be so pissy all the time. And that just hit us like a pillow to the face. It's like, huh? But it just simply never occurred to us that he would actually want front time. But he does. And we did, and he sat down and watched Rambo and Rambo 2 with our wife. It's like, oh, no accounting for taste, but that's what he wanted to do, and it made him happy. It's actually time for him to come out again at some point. We got to schedule some time for him, because he was bitching about it the other day. So I don't know. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. This is free form. We know about as much as you guys do. So yeah, Bootstraps is rough around the edges would be a good way to put it. He's our physical protector too. He's very aggressive. He'll slide right into that anger loop just like that, and he's the reason why we've almost gotten into fist fights at Walmart a couple times, and why Nigel is now co-con with him when we go out to do those things. An agreement between them, which has worked out for the best. So, there we go. Okay, Spindle Sunset is back. I've heard systems say that breaking stuff down to an alter's favorite deodorant flavor... Deodorant flavor? Apparently isn't healthy to distinguish between alters that deeply. Is that true? Aren't they their own people, though? Yeah. Okay, there is this desire, particularly when you've just been diagnosed and you're still floundering through the idea that you're more than one of you. You want to figure everything out. You want every single last nth detail. Percival likes this. He prefers this brand of tea. Blah 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 blah. But you're going to run yourself around in circles trying to find that out, because half the time they don't know, because we've all been living this half life, as it were. No, Gordon Freeman, you're not needed here today. Uh, gamer joke. We've all been living this half existence where a lot of the time it's like with what we were just saying about Bootstraps. We have no idea what we really want because we've never been afforded the opportunity to come out in something that is not a trauma situation to figure that out. So it's natural to want to, identify everything, but it's self-productive, and yeah, it does kind of rob the altars of a little bit of that mystery. That getting to know you, getting to know all about you. It's you're kind of killing some of the mystery there. Yeah, you've got 12 other people plus in your head, but that doesn't mean that you know everything about them. So don't make assumptions and don't push. I would say just treat it like getting to know anybody else. Be polite, I guess. Hope that answers your question. So yeah, they are their own people. Ultimately, yes, they're all you, but yeah. So and our term for today is deodorant flavor. So thank you for that, Spindle. Yeah. Yum. It reminds me of that old Saturday Night Live skit called Shimmer. New Shimmer is a floor wax. No, a new Shimmer is a dessert topping. It's both. Yeah. Okay. See if anybody catches that one. Okay, yeah. Let's see here. And yeah, she's literal roses ranting. Yeah, overanalyzes. Not what they good. Knowing thyself. I should just simply let roses respond first and then go on. Okay, so Biscuit is saying, back to the huge morass that we just danced our way out of. This is why I don't like the internet sometimes. People that claim to be endo systems or whatever seem to make a mockery of what D.I.D. really is. Yeah, we already answered that. We get it. I don't think it's deliberate. For a lot of them. It's just so complicated, and they may not know the truth. And there's so much misinformation out there amongst the actual information that I don't think it's deliberate, and I don't think it's malicious on a lot of part. I think that it's people with, and particularly younger people, who have serious mental issues, who have mental health issues that need to be addressed, who are latching on to something that they identify with, that they seem to have symptoms in common with. And that's just a human natural proclivity. So I don't think that it's malicious for a large percentage of them. I think it's just a lack of resources and a lack of knowledge and a lack of facts out there. I think that would make up for most of it. Yeah, there's those who are malicious and are deliberately demeaning D.I.D. But it's also one of these. Yeah. Anyway, that's about enough on that. If you're gonna go off the handle at every off-color thing or every weird thing that somebody says mocking D.I.D., you're gonna spend more of your life pissed than not. You just kind of gotta blow it off at some point. It's like our half-sister had a saying, opinions are like assholes. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has them, and most of them stink. So, yeah, there we go. Okay, Biscuit says it's never a good idea to share such triggers on the internet, whether you have D.I.D. or not, because there are terrible people who will use those triggers against you. Yes. Beata, thank you very much, guys. Feel so validated. I literally cannot express right now how grateful I am for this community here. Not alone, Beata. Not alone. You got it. Just like Biscuit says. Let's see. Spindle says, just want to make sure I'm not bystanding while D.I.D. gets hit with the, oh my god, I'm so ADHD, I can't focus. Oh my god, depressed girls are pretty love yourself queens. That's disguised as support. It gets glossed. It heavily gets glossed, but that's their style, and that's their way of doing it. We have a completely opposite way. Watch us if you want, watch them if they want. But yeah, it's a muddy something that gets muddier even more. Um, so yeah, that's another thing. Couldn't dream of putting my triggers online all willy nilly. That's like tattooing them on your forehead. Oh, I can't say that all of my peers are armchair diagnosers there. They'll say someone has DID because they're like a totally different person today and their voice sounds super different. Arg. Yeah. Thank you so very much for all of this. Spindle saying, I believe all systems and all are valid always. If they turn out to have another diagnosis, I'll support them all the same. I just don't want others getting hurt in the process. Biscuit's like, yes, this. Yeah. And that's the way it is. Stargirl, it's interesting for us. I know the facts, and it's hard to not want to believe people when they say they're a system without trauma. Maybe I'm just hoping that we don't have trauma, as weird as that sounds. And here's the thing, like we were saying, science is an advancing thing. And it may come to pass after more research is done, hard science is done, more systems come forward, and there's a bigger database built, that the expansion of D.I.D. will come to include some of the things that folks may term as endo nowadays. Like we said, everybody kind of laser focuses in on the fact that D.I.D. is caused by sexual trauma or abuse or things like that. But there's still a whole other wide area of things that can cause D.I.D. It's just trauma, severe, repeated over the course of time within this age range. So yeah, you kind of got to keep that in mind. So yeah, let's see here. Colby is a good cat name, yes. Actually, it's kind of a misnomer or an oddity for us because almost all of our cats have always been named after Egyptian gods or goddesses. So let's see here. Yeah, Roses is going on more about how long it takes to obtain a diagnosis. 7 years is the average. Yeah, we got diagnosed right off the bat. We got really lucky with that. Well, within 2 years, anyway. Spindle says, absolutely seen people online actually harass systems with the show me your diagnosis, what's your doctor, and that's super mega gross. Ours is right in the closet. It wouldn't mean shit to anybody, but yeah, we've got the physical thing. It's all right. We're legit. I don't have to prove to anybody, but yeah, I got it there. Okay, let's see. I love spiders. Georg. Okay, yeah, okay, but okay. Sorry, girls, and then the whole okay, I'm sorry, it was a two-part. Yeah, Starry's saying yeah, and then the whole trauma doesn't lie thing comes up, and I'm just like, damn it, I don't know what to think about this. Trust the facts, trust the science. That's why we're big on it. Trauma doesn't lie. It can't lie to you. Wait, I just realized you said quick diagnosis. Okay. Going back and forth, supporting each other. I love you guys. Oh, okay. Yeah, Roses. Now we know who you're talking about. Yeah. Juxta, hello, you snuck in on us. Yeah, talking about the endo. Wow, Infinity confirmed Half-Life 3. Complete with crowbar flavored deodorant. You know what? I'm sure that there is some person out there who would buy Gordon Freeman crowbar flavored deodorant. Call up Gabe and see if you can get Valve to sign on to that. Well, I mean, come on, just sidestepping for a moment. Half-Life Alyx is essentially 2.5, and then I mean, hello, not spoilers, but the end of that clearly says that there's going to be a third. I mean, they have to finish it, especially after that. I mean, they can't just, screw with us twice, and well, I don't know, they did screw with us, and then 20 years before giving us anything else. So it's Valve. What do you want? But no Half-Life 3 confirmations here. No. But man, if you haven't played Alex in VR, we're VR enthusiasts, which is actually proving to have some therapeutic uses as well, which we'll be going into on a future episode, both positive and negative. So. Okay, let's see here. Don't want to get lost. We're trying to keep it shorter here so we can catch up. Crowbar flavored deodorant. I just love that. Spindly made me laugh so hard. I love this. Yes, story girl. Let's see here. Borealis system. Hello, welcome. Got a fictive who in their source has eaten deodorant. So deodorant flavor is a real thing for us in the inner world, that is. Yeah, I think we've all tasted something or other during our life that we probably shouldn't have, and we're sorry we did. Okay, Spindle Sunset says, I agree most of people in our generation come from places of ignorance and misguided stigma ending. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. See, that fictive gets it. Deodorant flavor is valid. Word of the day, deodorant flavor. Yeah, it's not that it's not valid. It's just funny. We're laughing with you, not at you, obviously. Let's see here. Rosa said, wonder how much the sudden uptick of young people identifying with D.I.D. is a huge uptick of unsupported trauma with regards to the culture of violence that the last 20 years have been in the U.S. Yeah, that's got to be an exacerbating factor. Totally. Borealis system retracted a message. Don't retract your message. Sorry. It's okay, you can. It's just then we always wonder, what the heck did they write? Yeah, okay. Juxta is saying that they spend a lot of time helping teens with their emotional issues, and it can be really hard on them with people saying their school troubles are earth-shattering, but their personal ones are irrelevant. I spend time validating them about their feelings and giving them the help I needed back then. It feels good to give back. Yes, Juxta. Thank you for doing that. Respect. Kudos. That's what it's about. Yeah, being a teen sucked, and we're not even going to go into that. Because we ramble enough as it is, and we want to stay on track. Yeah, it's rough. Being a teen is rough. And to any of you in the audience out there who are a teen right now, we get it. Look, here's what it is about at your age. Survival, okay? And waiting for your body to settle down from the rush of chemicals that it is suddenly inundating you with and all the body changes and crap. And this goes on well into your 20s and upwards to your 30s, guys. Puberty does not end at age 18. It's a flexible thing, and it does go on. Your body and whatnot will change throughout the corner of your life. Or, yeah, course of your life. So, yeah, it sucks. Watch a movie called Pump Up the Volume. Christian Slater, early movie, great flick, but he says something in there in his final speech when he's addressing, and he says, let's face it, being a teenager sucks. Being in high school sucks, but the point of it is surviving it. That's the point. So, hang in there, okay? Hang in there. It will get better. It will get worse, and it will get better. And it's going to keep doing that throughout your life. There is no finish line. There's no goal line. It's just day to day to day to day to day, and making the most out of it. Survive, because the best parts are ahead. Now, I'm going to sound like old man here for a minute, but I've been on this earth 50 years, we have, and we've wasted so much. Enjoy it while you've got it. Survive it, and know that better times are coming. And that at least here, there's some people that got your back, okay? So hang in there. Hang tough. You'll make it. You will make it. Okay, so back to it. Oh, wow, we're almost getting caught up here. Okay, let's see. Think that Borealis System is saying that they think that the culture of violence in the USA has definitely had an impact. Yeah, media's gone completely out of control, and we've watched it happen growing up. We actually saw where we're at now coming 20 years ago more. But then basically every Gen X kid grew up expecting to be blasted into radioactive dust before they were 35. So we kind of grew up pretty fatalistic. Uh, Want to talk about millennial or Gen Z angst? You guys ain't got nothing on Gen X. Not dissing you. I mean, yeah, but anyway, it comes back to that. You're not alone. The shit is the same, just the circumstances change. Until we finally decide to go, we're not going to we're not going to do that anymore. No. So, yeah. Make that change. Yeah, Michael Jackson, we are. Okay, so prioritization of school over a human being. Yeah. Juxta is saying, it doesn't surprise me that kids desperate for attention would turn to something dramatic to get the connection they need. When I was a teen, it was self-harm. Now I guess it's claiming D.I.D. Yeah, it's just wanting to feel in touch, connected. Everything's changing, and you want something to cling to. And you go, oh, wow, I'm just like that, or I'm like that sometime. Oh, and it's a real easy connection to go from A to B to C, but the trouble is you don't end up at D, you end up at Z, because you missed everything that was in between. So, okay, so yeah, Spindle saying kids need that, especially school trauma is a thing. Oh yeah, it sucked. Uh, you guys at least have more of the protection against bullying and crime. I mean, yeah, of course it still goes on outside of the school and whatnot, but man, when you went to school during the 70s and the 80s, it was brutal. Brutal. I mean, of course, we also didn't have kids bringing guns to school and going on shooting rampages or metal detectors at the entrances or fences up around, but that's because social responsibility and mores and morals kind of fell by the wayside. This is what happens when you have a generation of latchkey kids raising kids who then go on to raise their kids. Recipe for trouble. There's my old man writ. Yeah, crafting a system for sure, and that does, talking about the school trauma, it does say a lot about the people around them too. There's still plenty of caregivers brushing them off like everyone has anxiety, especially now with the current state of affairs. And we're going to touch on that for just a quick sec on a personal note. Okay, our wife is a teacher. And you may be going, okay, well, why don't the teachers do anything about this? Why don't they see it? How come it isn't better like this? Okay, here's the real deal of it. Teachers are underpaid, way overworked, and extremely stressed. Okay? Most of them have 30 plus kids in their room. All of them with their own issues, most of them with severe stuff going on at home, who have their own trauma at home, abused children, and there's only one teacher. And so many kids. And it's just the reality of it. Unfortunately, they don't have enough time. They don't have enough money. They don't have enough resources. I have lost count. We have lost count of the times when our wife comes home so demoralized because she sees these things. She sees these kids that are hurting and who needs help, and she's not able to do everything about it that she'd like. It rips her guts out, and we see it. So they do their best to report it. They do their best, but unfortunately their hands are tied in ways that you couldn't even believe. And it's not that they don't care, it's that they have been burned out. Because they do care. So go up and hug your teachers, guys. And tell them, sorry for being a dick. Just remember, they're human beings too. And when they go home, they still cry just like everybody else. And man, are they stressed. Dealing with all that and then dealing with us and going through all this. Our wife is fucking amazing, okay? Quick side note. So, yeah. Sorry, just wanted to comment about that. Just remember that the system that we all hate is made up of individual people, and it's the individual people that need to change before we can change the system. So get out there and vote. Protest, draw attention, but vote, because that's where the power really lies. Or, well, we'll see, won't we? Anyway. So yeah, but Spindle's saying, yeah, self-harming was a thing for this generation too. Remember a friend mass texted a picture of her with Crayola marker on her line saying she harmed. And actually, ironically, Spindle, you may not realize it, but that is actually a valid control technique for self-harm, as we found out. We don't remember where we read it, but we said that among suicidal and self-harm people, a lot of the times you can relieve that pressure of the self-harming, close the stress response cycle, which is what you're trying to do, is to close the uncompleted fight-flight, to resolve it. That's why people cut or do any other number of things, is because they're trying to get that relief. But it's actually a valid technique to relieve that pressure, because by putting a mark on their arm where they would cut themselves, they're doing the same action, but in a safe way. And we have used this ourselves. We use black because red has the obvious connotation. But ironically, what your friend was faking there, that's an actual good tool to have in your box if you're self-harming or suicidally, and we have. We don't have self-harm in overt ways so much. Ours are more self-neglect ways. But when we have had that suicidal ideation and those thoughts, yeah, that has been one of our weapons of last resort. So to speak, it's a great tool. But yeah, we remember those times as well. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go back down through here. Real life basically disappeared, which couldn't have helped any existing trauma. Yeah, coping is great for stress. Okay, we were like 10. Yeah. Spindle, are you actually... Whoops. Whoa. Oh, Lord, yeah. STLPP. Oh, jeez. We'll let you backtrack, but Spindle's saying to Juxt that she's referring to some of the things at the time that was just basically a bunch of psychology catchphrases. Okay. Sorry, I got lost in the chat. Yeah, not the. Are you actually 10? No. She was saying that she was 10 at the time, I believe. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say, yeah. Now our stuff is flagged for not for kids, so it's. But that's not going to stop you guys from coming in. We tend to take everyone at face value. You're responsible for yourselves, people. Okay, let's see here. Crafting System is saying, okay, yeah. Saying, big reason that they thought therapy wasn't for us when they first started. We were still in an abusive situation and being just given DB's T skills to cope. Yeah, and hope. Yeah, that's not enough. First thing you got to do is get the hell out of that situation. That can be one of the hardest things. We've done that one ourselves. It's a real-in. We don't talk to our family. Well, our immediate family, obviously, but we talk to, but yeah. Anyway, let's see. Be pretty stable 10-year-old if I do right now. Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, Biscuit, they said that they have to go. Fun stream. Be sure to join a future one of Fable. Thanks for dropping in, Biscuit. Great questions. Stay safe out there. Take care. Drink water. Yeah. Juxt, sorry, we're skimming over the comments here. And yeah, fund mental health care. Yes, please. Uh, Sunset Spindle, I always think of the little girl crying when her mom bought her light up glitter sneakers because it's a dead giveaway for the shooters if they come to school. Oh yeah, that hits hard. Ugh. Damn, took us a second there, but that hits hard. Yeah. Crafting system. I've had 3 different teacher friends quit during this pandemic because they're just so overwhelmed. Yeah, and we didn't even get into the COVID stuff and the mask. Ugh, we're not happy that our wife has to go in every day into a classroom with 30 plus kids who have siblings that are COVID positive, whose parents refuse to put their masks on or mandate masks for the kids, who feel that their liberties and their constitutional rights are being taken away because I got to put a mask on myself or on my friend or on my dog or on my child. It doesn't matter that much. It's more important to be politically correct and own the libs than anybody else's lives. Excuse me. Excuse us. We have a low tolerance for willful stupidity, and it pisses us off that our wife has to go in there every day and put her health at risk and our health at risk just to simply satisfy these idiots and the administrators who refuse to have the balls to stand up and say, no, we're going to mandate masks for our kids. Ugh, okay, we're done ranting on that. And there we go, losing more subscribers. Oh well. And believe it or not, we're not liberal. We're independent. Anyway. Let's see here. Shooting your dose probably fixed somebody up. Yeah, for sure. Stargirl, your wife is amazing. Thank you for informing us of this. It's okay. It's kind of a rant, but people tend to, they don't really understand what all teachers go through, and it's heartbreaking. It really is. Borealis, teachers are severely overworked and severely underpaid. Amen. Favorite Rose is saying their favorite teacher used to make jokes about being paid literally tens of dollars. Accurate. Juxta is saying, I have body markers for writing and drawing on myself when I have self-harm impulses. I agree, it's quite helpful. Yeah, see, right there. Beata says, thank you all for tonight. Take care. I hope we'll be able to talk to you again on a stream or watch a video. Absolutely, Beata, anytime. We're here. Comment, please. You know, guys can comment on the videos. Drop us a thought. We always reply, and we actually manage to keep most of you guys fairly straight. As far as who you are, as we're getting larger, it's becoming a little more difficult, but also because the older that we get, our memory is becoming more Swiss cheese. Yeah, Sam Beckett are us. Okay, so crafting system, have black and white tattoos specifically so now we can color on them with body. That's a great idea. Living coloring book. That's cool. Like that. Okay, it's fun. Never had to color my back tattoo by 8 times or just flat out dangerous. Boy, Alice says, oh, are we actually? Yeah, we're caught up. Wow. Hey, all right. What time is it? 5:13. We're going to go and give it about another 15 minutes, guys, because I have a feeling that dinner will be getting here soon. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, or comments that you want to make, questions, whatever, hit us up. Let's see, for the channel coming up, really the only thing that we've kind of got on the burner, as it were, right now is the episode regarding time and D.I.D. And the time lock alters and what we were discussing earlier on, and some other stuff that data has dug up about the way that humans perceive time and our perception of it, and the biochemical things for that. And basically, this is where he's trying to tie together the perception of time and the physical evidence versus the way that a D.I.D. system presents it, and what very little research there is on that tied. So that's that's a sticking point. obviously we'll have a new little stories. This time we've got either Scuffy the Tugboat or the Seven Little Postmen. Percival's not sure which one he wants to do, so you guys, if you've got an opinion, go ahead and drop it down there in the comments to let us know which one you'd prefer, and we'll get working on that when he's in the mood. Right now we're making some set changes to the safe space. We just put the castle over there in the corner since we moved to the smaller chest for Mr. Bear. And we've kind of got this blue mote of water going around it, but we want to throw in some green and actually make it look real nice, and just, little things like that, which also, as usual, serves as a task for us to coke on and whatnot, and all work together on the one thing. So look for that. If you have a little who wants to have their name on a sheet on the wall, this thing right over here, see if I can get it. There are currently 59 sheep on that wall. 59, both a cool thing and an incredibly melancholy thing, but we're going to go with good. So if any of you have a little who would like their name on the wall, drop their name either on a comment on the channel, anywhere. We see them pop up, except for the ones on the live stream here. For some reason, if somebody comments or answers to a comment on this, they don't show up. We're not sure why. YouTube is weird that way. So anyway, if you want a little, let us know. We'll put them on the wall. I think that's about it for the time being. We'll keep you updated. I think let's check to see if there's any other questions before we sign off. So, Off-Grid Grandma, you're getting here just as we're going. Oh no, I have to watch the replay. Well, it's good to see you, or hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's been an interesting stream, kind of hodgepodge this time. No heavy trauma this time, thank goodness. We didn't get into any of the real heavy stuff like we did the last stream. So, much more lightweight this time. So, let's see, where did you go? Okay, yeah, but good to see you, Off-Grid Grandma. Starry Girl, for me, time is either too fast or painfully slow. No in between. Ours is just, ugh. I'm sorry, Crafting System says, what were the two book options? Scuffy, the Tugboat, or the Seven Little Postmen? Just a second. Scuffy. Oof. Where's it? Postman. There we are. Hey, wait until you're my age, or our age, and the body's age, and then you'll start going, ugh, every time you get up too. All right, so we have Scuffy the Tugboat, or Seven Little Postmen. Pick a card, any card. So if you'd like to see the Seven Little Postmen, go ahead and say so down below. If you'd like to see Scuffy, or here, I'll see Scuffy the Tugboat, since we just basically scanned the whole books, let us know which one you prefer, and we'll go whichever one that is, unless Percival decides to override us. But we've kind of gotten into the habit of recording he has, recording these two at a time so that we have a little bit of a backlog just in case of emergency. So there's those. Let us know whichever you'd prefer. And again, if you want a sheep on the wall, just let us know. So, okay, yeah, the Tugboat or, okay, so choose one of those, okay, Borealis is saying, both for us, okay, Starry Girl is, a little literally just said, yay, Mr. Bear, yep, Mr. Bear, he's sitting over there against the windowsill right now, with all the rest of the safe space stuffies. Okay, say yes, Sheep Army, Seven Little, okay, we've got a vote for Seven Little Postmen. We'll go back through and tally everything up. Seven Little Postmen's a cute story, it really is. Okay, Spindle says, also, I'm going to head out. It was lovely to meet you all, and I'll definitely be back. Thank you so much for answering my hot seat questions. I promise it'll be smooth sailing from here on out. No problem. Pin us to the wall with whatever questions you want. We're open, and like we said, if we say an opinion, we're not really wishy-washy. We're going to stick to it, but we do admit when we're wrong and screw up. So, but we do count on you guys for that perspective and to act as our check. So, ask whatever the hell you want, as within the strictures. Thank you. Those were some great questions. Thank you for for stepping in, Spindle Sunset, and we hope to see you around the channel. Take care now. Drink water. Apparently having a debate in the back of their back of their head. Crafting system says, tugboat sounds good to me. Tugboat definitely sounds good. Okay, so we have 2 for the tugboat and 1 for the postman. So, like I said, we'll tally it up. Crafting system, thank you for this. Thank you, crafting system, for coming and joining the channel, coming and joining the live chat. We have got a lot of programming that we've already put up. You may have heard us talking about the safe space. If you haven't ran across that already, we have a playlist called Little Stories, and where Percival sits down and reads the little golden books like that to the littles. It gives them a safe space. We've got them all in a playlist, so you can just pop them on and keep them on repeat or whatever. Our programming is also split up into each of what the different altars do. Rosemary kind of has a little cooking show. Mimi hasn't really been out because Mimi is Mimi. But she does have a makeup thing, I think, there. And so our programming is kind of scattered. It doesn't follow the normal route that a lot of the other channels do. And then, of course, we have the real heavy hit pieces that Data puts together, that we all put together, like the Learning to Love Again, Learning to Live Again, Trauma Doesn't Lie, Boys Cry 2, all of our heavier, solid pieces. So we've got all over the place. So that's kind of how the system is, and the channel. So be sure to check those out. We're glad that you came on board, and we hope that you find something of value here. So thank you again. Okay, so tugboat. Thank you for this. Okay, tugboat. Okay, so we've got. It looks like we're going to be going with the tugboat. Sorry, Juxta. We'll get to you next time, though. Crowd rules. Okay, so guys, we're going to... Okay, hang on. Justice says, my friend filmed me for the first time in 20 years. Next up, I'm going to record myself reading some of my poetry. I was so scared when my friend put me on her phone, but it's all easier from there. You go. You go. Proud of you. Excellent. What a great first step, Juxta. See? We told you, get out there. Tell your story. Good for you. Salute. Excellent news. Proud of you. Very proud of you. It's tough to step outside of your comfort zone, so yeah. Big kudos and a thumb up. All right, guys, we are going to go ahead and close it out here. We want to thank you guys, all of our new viewers, for joining in, and especially our old viewers who have been with us since we stuck the first video up. We really do appreciate you guys, and more importantly, we appreciate the community that you guys are forming around the channel. Not us, but for each other and around the channel. That's so important to us, and it gives us validation that we started the channel for the right reason, that it's hitting the right people, that we're hitting the right notes. So yeah, whether you're little, a big, a small, a tall, we ask you to remember, say it with us, you are loved, you are strong, and you're not alone. All right, guys, thanks, take care. Chris, Data, and the rest of us, signing off. Have a great day, everybody.